Hockey fans, good evening and welcome back into the neutral zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. It's a frozen frenzy out on the ice tonight. All 32 teams across the NHL are active. We've got games going on everywhere. We've got games that have concluded, some that are going on right now, and some that'll be dropping the puck yet later on tonight. We will get you caught up on each and every one of them. We've got news across the NHL tonight. Paul Maurice signed a contract extension with the Florida Panthers. Seems like the coach is going to be staying put for a while down there in Ratland. Congratulations, Coach Maurice. And a little bit of cross-sport talk tonight. We saw a radical medical procedure work in the NBA to get a player back on the court. The same procedure was recently done to a hockey player. What will one have to do with the other? We will discuss that. All that plus more coming up right now on the neutral zone. Buckle on in. Don't get checked into the boards. Stay out of that penalty box. Let's have some fun. Let's go. And hello and good evening, everyone. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Welcome back into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Zach Pupplis will be along with us here in just a moment. We've got a lot to be getting through tonight. We have got every single team in the NHL is active tonight in one way, shape, form, or fashion. We've got some games that have wrapped, some that are going on right now, and some that will be starting once we are done doing the show tonight. So we will keep you updated on all those, plus some other news and notes from around the hockey world. But first, before we get into that, a quick note from our sponsor, and then we will dive into the show. This is the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be right back after this. IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Glad that you are here with us tonight. A thank you to all of our sponsors. You heard how to follow along with the network, IE Sports Radio, there on social media. This show is also available for you on Twitter. You can follow along with us. We are at IESR Neutral Zone, or you can follow along with me personally. I am at Adam_Karnick. Zach is at The Pupless. And if you are watching the show live tonight on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram, hop on into the chat. You can drop us a message. We can interact and have some fun back and forth that way. We got some people watching on Twitter right now. Feel free, drop us a line. What game are you most excited for today on Frozen Frenzy Tuesday, where every single NHL team is playing a game today, is on the ice today? What game has had you most excited all day? What game is it? One that's already wrapped? Is it one going on right now? Is it one that is yet to drop the puck? Drop us a line. Let us know what you've been paying close attention to. We've been keeping an eye on all of them here on the show tonight. So with our scores, we'll get everybody caught up real quick on the scores here tonight, real fast. I do apologize for the little bit of a delay for Zach. He is a little delayed in getting in here. Oh, and I think there he is, the one and only Mr. Pupless. There he is. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. Sorry you had some technical difficulties getting in there, but glad they're all resolved and going well.
Yes, me too.
So I threw this question out there into the Twitter verse and YouTube verse and Instagram out there, but I think I'll ask you, though I think I know the answer to the question. What game are you most excited about tonight? Which one have you been keeping your closest eye on? Oh, and we may have lost connection. We may have lost connection with Zach. So we'll hold on that. We'll let him reestablish here for a moment while he fixes that. And let's get into the scores here real quickly tonight as we peruse through the NHL. Of course, 16 games on the docket tonight. We'll start with the games that have already gone final. We've had the Minnesota Wild absolutely thrashed the Florida Panthers 5-1 tonight. Oh, and I think Zach has reestablished. Are you with us there, Zach?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry.
There we go. No, it's all right. So I was just starting to go through the scores here tonight. The Minnesota Wild absolutely clobbered the Florida Panthers 5-1 tonight in that one. We've had a few games go final already. John Erickson, a goal and an assist. Jake Middleton, 3 assists for the Wild. And Philip Gustafson stopped 96% of the shots he faced. 24 out of 25 shots faced all got saved by Gustafson. I saw while I was doing this is the best start the Minnesota Wild are off to in 16 years. They are 4-0-2 in their first 6 are the Minnesota Wild. So good stuff there from Minnesota. Washington Capitals, they had a victory tonight, 4-1 over the Philadelphia Flyers. So the our buddies down in Philly are less than happy with that. I know. Doesn't look like Alexander Ovechkin got any closer to the number to our buddy Wayne Gretzky though. He stayed off of the score sheet there though. But 4-1, Washington with a win. So Washington continues its hot start to the NHL season. Those are the only games that are final at this point, but we've got several other games that are live and in action. You want to get us caught up on the games that are going on right now? Oh, are you there, Zach?
Yep. Sorry, it's been coming in and out.
Oh no.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know if I'm able to pull it up without risking the connection, I guess.
Oh no. All right. Well, that's okay. Well, I will go ahead and I will get us caught up on the games going on right now in Chicago. They have finished the first period. Apparently neither of the goalies showed up. It is 4-2 Vancouver at the end of one there in Chicago. In the third, speaking of games without goalies, in the third period in New Jersey, it is Tampa Bay 7, New Jersey 4. I saw that Brett Hagel had himself a hat trick already in this game tonight for the Lightning, a natural hat trick, 3 goals in a little over 6 minutes in a 6-minute stretch. So Tampa Bay playing well. In Buffalo, the Sabres are about to wrap up a victory over the Dallas Stars. It is 3-0 Buffalo with 5 minutes left to go in that one. Tage Thompson, Ryan McLeod, and Peyton Krebs, the goal scorers in that one. So Buffalo, a strong victory looking like tonight. They are just starting the third period in Montreal. The Rangers all over the Canadians. It is 5-2 in Montreal. In Columbus, the Blue Jackets are taking advantage of the fact that the Maple Leafs played last night and hammering them. It is 5-1 Columbus in that one. Columbus scored the first 5 goals in the game before finally Knies for Toronto was able to put one in the back of the net. They are just finishing up. They have finishing up the second period there in Columbus. Getting towards the end of the second period in the Bronx, it is your Red Wings 1, the Islanders 0. Patrick Kane, the lone goal scorer so far, just 8 shots for the Red Wings, and we are almost to the end of 2 periods in that one. The Red Wings being outshot 14-8 at this point. Very, very strange total there. Early in the second period in St. Louis, it is the Blues 1, Winnipeg 0. So Winnipeg, the last standing truly unbeaten team in the NHL, 5-0-0 to start the season. The Jets right now, that streak is in jeopardy, though they are in the power play right now. And then the first period just wrapped up in Seattle. The Avalanche on top of the Kraken, 1-0, though Seattle outshot Colorado 12-5 in the first period there. First period down in Nashville, the Predators trying to get off the slide. They're still winless through 6 games in the season. They are all tied up with Boston, no score. 14 minutes left to go in the first period in Edmonton. The Oilers on top of the Hurricanes, 1-0. Connor McDavid, his second goal of the season. So that is everything that has concluded and everything that is currently going on. We still have 4 more games that will drop the puck later tonight. All of them at this point after our show will be done. Whew. So welcome on into a Frozen Frenzy Tuesday. What do you think of this, Zach? I know we talked about this a little bit last year, where the NHL basically pulls an NFL on us and just has every single team in action on the same day. What do you think of these? Oh, that's word.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yep, we got you loud and clear. Are you able to hear? Are you able to hear us?
I think it's awesome. In bits and pieces. I think it's awesome. I love that it's the idea like the NCAA tournament, like wall-to-wall hockey, just all day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just they drop the puck and it does. They drop the puck at 6:00 and it doesn't stop until it'll be 1:00 tomorrow. 1:00 tomorrow morning before they're done playing hockey.
Right, that's incredible. I love it. Hockey, and more hockey.
More and more and more and more.
This is a great way to start off the season for sure.
Indeed. And I think we're going to have a couple more of these yet this season too. I'm taking a quick peek throughout the calendar. I think they're going to do another one of these in January, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just double checking. I'm glancing through here real quick, but I do believe I saw that they are going to have another one of at least one more of these this season, which makes sense. You don't want to limit yourself to just one. And if you were going to do it in just one, it wouldn't really behoove you to do it, in the middle of football season. As I'm taking a quick.
They're doing more of what this season? Sorry.
Trying to do more of these where you've got all the teams in action. And actually I looked through and no, this is the only one. So is that a good move by the league, or should they do more of these, do you think?
I think that's a good move. I mean, more hockey on TV, the better, really. Being able to get coverage for all the teams that don't normally get prime time, or a lot of, especially with these days with the ESPN deal, have been restricted to the ESPN Plus app.
Right. Yeah. I think having a second one of these though would be a good idea. Okay, you have one to start off the season like they're doing tonight, but have another one say in January or February when they're coming back from the Olympic break. Or really, really you want to get crazy, put it in March, right as the hunt for the playoffs is really heating up and going strong. Do another one of these in March to really kind of signify we're starting the playoff push now.
Well, but then I think you find yourself running into March Madness, though, and I think maybe that's going to draw more people, and you try to compete with that. So good luck.
You put it on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday. You can March Madness is relatively easily avoidable. That's Thursday through Sunday. You've got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday available to you.
Oh, true. Well, yeah, depending on when you put it on, yeah.
So there's ways to go about it. This way
like
you're doing it.
The later, like you said, the later rounds, you definitely have openings during the middle of the week. Yeah, because it goes from Thursday to Sunday and then Thursday to Sunday again.
Yep. Oh yeah, you've definitely got ways to go about doing it so that you can get more eyeballs to the screens and just bring in fans, catch their attention. So, well, tell you what, let's take our first quick break. We've got a news story today where that's where we'll come back and we will go through the news. We'll go through Zach's notebook a little bit because I'm sure he's got some notes on this one. Paul Maurice signed an extension with the Florida Panthers earlier this afternoon. So we'll break that down and we'll talk about what we think about that move. And then we've got to talk medical stuff. There's been some medical breakthroughs in the sports world in the last couple of weeks, and it involves hockey. So we will discuss that as well. You are listening here to the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to the 305, aka the Magic City, and this is Magic City Scoreboard. I'm your host, JB, and right here we're going to talk anything Miami. Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes, Marlins, Panthers, Inter Miami, and even high school football. So join me once a week right here on Magic City Scoreboard on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed to all that is sports.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam and Zach back here with you. So one of the news stories of the day today The Florida Panthers, we talked about how they got spanked earlier today by the Minnesota Wild. The Wild off to their best start in 16 years at 4-0-2. However, head coach Paul Maurice for the Florida Panthers, I imagine he's still feeling okay with all that because he signed a multi-year extension with the Panthers this afternoon. According to some different sources, I'm going through here and I'm just wanting to make sure that I have the news as correct as I can. I am seeing from everybody that it is a multi-year extension. I'm looking to see if I can find any numbers associated with it. Of course, the GM and president of hockey operations, Bill Zitz, of course, he didn't say what the numbers were exactly, but seeing if I can. Doesn't look like people have reported on the numbers yet, but I do see that it is a multi-year extension for Maurice and the Panthers. He's been with the club since 2022. The last 2 years, they have made the Stanley Cup Finals. They lost to Vegas. Then they turned around and beat Edmonton a year ago. This sure feels like an easy extension to do, doesn't it?
100% rubber stamp.
Yeah. Just
you get to the finals 1 year and lose. Okay. But I mean, what was that? Was that game 6, game 7 with Vegas? And then you get to the finals again the next year and win. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, pretty straightforward and easy. He's had success with them. The team very much enjoys playing for them. He enjoys working with the team.
I mean, the only thing I could probably say is that the blemish from the playoff run last year was just how that last game ended. Whether I forget whether it was game 5, game 6, game 7, whatever, but. Just that I remember Vegas just kept scoring and pouring it on like that. I mean, other than that, I mean, I feel like if I remember correctly, they kept the series close the whole way up until that point.
Yeah, the last game definitely got away from. So here is the quote from President of Hockey Operations and Team General Manager Bill Zito. Paul has resolutely led our organization to unprecedented success during his relatively short tenure in South Florida. He is a superb communicator and leader for our staff and players, possessing a keen strategic mind for the game. We are excited for Paul and his staff to continue to keep the Florida Panthers as a destination franchise for the foreseeable future. And he's currently second in games coached in the NHL. He trails Scotty Bowman. He is fourth all time in wins with 873. So yeah, it sure feels like this is an easy one for the Panthers to do. They despite losing earlier this evening, everything is still up for them. They're still playing well overall, even with the loss tonight. Florida checks in. Florida came into the day sitting atop the Atlantic Division. They'll probably still be, they'll be near the top if nothing else. Toronto is currently losing. Boston is playing Nashville, so good chance that Boston will keep moving in the right direction and maybe get 2 points to jump. Of course, I say that, and then the Predators scored, so who knows? We might see, even with the loss tonight, we still might see the Panthers sitting atop the Atlantic Division.
Color me surprised. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it seems like such an easy and obvious move to make. No big surprise.
Was it last year Or was it a different year when they won the President's Trophy? Because that you could throw that on his resume too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The President's Trophy winner. Oh yeah. And just, you don't hear about a lot of problems with
Yeah.
the Panthers or their players or anybody in the organization. They seem to operate things cleanly down
Oh
there.
yeah. Well, and talking about pressing the right buttons, the Matthew Kachuk trade for sure, like it was huge and all that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you give Zito credit for that, but you know, give Maurice credit for that too of, hey, you've got a stud player that just got landed into the team. Let's figure out how to use him. Let's make sure we're using
Mhm.
him correctly. Let's figure out how to get everybody around him. And it took him a long time that first season, but then they still managed to get in the playoffs. They made that run all the way to the cup final.
Yep.
And even though they came up short, you could see they were going somewhere. There was something to be said for this team and for the organization.
Yeah. Well, and also last year, wasn't that the season when Boston was heads and shoulders above everybody else, and then blew it in Game 7 against Florida?
That was 2 years ago where it was Boston was just dominant throughout the regular season, tapered off at the end, and then Florida,
Yeah.
just got hot at the end of the season, came in and took that first series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that probably
absolutely.
fueled that whole run to the cup.
Yep,
I mean,
absolutely.
they didn't hoist it, but still.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you definitely put a lot of good things on that run there for them, starting there with that late regular season push and then beating the President's Trophy winning Boston Bruins in a
Yeah.
in a 7-round series. Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, when was Quenneville let go from there? Is Maurice the very next man in line, or is there somebody in between?
I believe it was Maurice was the next guy. I will double check that. Tell you what, I'll look that up real quickly. But that sounds right. That
Ins-
absolutely sounds right.
Inserts quintessential Indiana Jones line here. I'm as human as the next man. I was the next man.
I was the next man. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Let's see. There we go. Going with the list of coaches.
Yeah, I could not believe the Wild blew him out like that tonight. But yeah, but you said you're absolutely right. Wild are on such a good start, hot start this year. Oh my god.
Andrew Burnett was actually in between Maurice and Quenneville. He coached for 75 games, so he basically finished out the
Oh, so it wasn't even a full year. Okay.
yeah, he basically finished out the 21-22 season
Okay.
for them as the interim, and then Paul Maurice took over in 2022 after that. So
Okay. Gotcha.
yeah, let's go through that. Let's go through that box score a little bit, shall we? For the Wild and the Panthers, we'll head back over there real quick.
Sure.
We'll head back over to that one real fast here. So 5-1. The Wild are on a 6-game point streak. They're 4-0-2 on the season. They actually got outshot 25-22 in the game, but they had more of them go in the net, and that's the main objective. That's the primary objective. They also did a good job, Minnesota did, of playing keep away in the third period. Florida only got off 4 shots in the final frame. So none of the goals were scored in the final period. So all the momentum was with Minnesota at that point to keep things going there in that direction. Let's see. We'll pull up the full box here for Minnesota. You had 4 players all finish with 5 players, all finished with multiple points, led by defensiveman Jake Middleton. He had 3 assists on the night, but Kaprizov had himself a 2-point night. He had 2 assists. You had Zuccarello had a goal and an assist, as well as Eriksson Ek had himself a goal and assist, and also Matt Boldy had himself a goal and an assist tonight for the Wild. The big one for the Wild, though, it was Philip Gustafsson, 24 saves and 25 shot attempts there.
Nice. No goalie goal though. Shucks.
No goalie goal. Not this time. Not this time. No goalie goal to be had this go around. For the Panthers, meanwhile, their lone goal was scored by Sam Bennett in the second period. You did have assists from Matthew Tkachuk and Connor Verhaeghe on that. So, that line, which, I mean, if you're going to have one line score, it's going to be that one. It was Bobrovsky that started in net tonight for the Panthers, and he got pulled basically after the second period, which, I mean, it was 5-1. It's a long season. I wouldn't read anything into that other than, hey, it's a long season. All right, Bob, they got you tonight. Let's get you out of there so we can, have you rest up and recover. So Spencer Knight played the third period and he made 6 saves. Should we read anything into that at all? That, Bobrovsky only made 11 saves tonight. He faced 6 shots and he only got 11 of them.
I don't think so. I think there's certain nights where you just have that person's number. You got the cheat code.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So
what do you think?
It's significant to me just because, Bobrovsky's up there. He is one of the older goalies in the NHL. And yes, I know that hockey players can play forever. We've seen them do that. We see, guys play into their 40s and their mid 40s and all that. I know.
Jaromir Jagr.
Jaromir Jagr, yeah, exactly. Chris Chelios, I think he could still lace him up and beat the snot out of somebody. I got no problem saying that. But, and I want to make sure I get his age correct here. So I'm pulling it up so that I have it. He's 36. He is, you don't necessarily see goalies playing that long. So I guess you're right in that it's one game. Don't look into one game. Sometimes guys just have your night. For me, it's my radar goes up a little bit and it's okay. Let's see how quickly this happens again. Does he turn this off by going on a string of, he stops 93% of his shots over the next 6 games? Or do we have another clunker like this in the relatively near future? So my antenna goes up. I'll put it that way. I'll put it that way with it, that it's, all right. Okay. Something to keep an eye on a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. I think there's an internal and an external. I think the external is, the thing you would tell him, okay, hey, no big deal. Somebody, every once in a while they just got your number, they got the cheat code, whatever. Like, we got to put somebody else in to try to change things up. But then internally, yeah, I would probably just, okay, keep an eye on this. If this happens again, or too soon, then we might need to go a little further with it.
Right. Yeah. Because let's face it, like you said, it will happen again. Let's face it. It's hockey. Everybody's got those nights where you're off, you're fighting a bug, or your daughter had a rough day at school, or, something,
When you're
things
slightly off, and on top of that, when everybody else could be hot.
right, exactly. Or you could be facing Edmonton,
Right.
you could be off and you get Dallas, something like that too, where it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, you can't be off against these guys.
No.
This is bad news, when you're off against one of these teams. But at the same time, if it happens too soon, if it's like, we just saw a game like this last week. What's going on here? Then you gotta start having some conversations. Then you gotta start thinking about things a little. Then it gets into your head a little bit. You gotta worry about it a little bit. But one night, you're right though. One night, probably we shouldn't worry anything about one night, one performance. On the flip side, what do we think of Minnesota at this point? 4-0-2, their best start in 16 years.
Ooh.
They are with that. They are tied with Winnipeg and Dallas for the top of the Central. Now, obviously, those two teams are going on right now tonight. Winnipeg is on top of St. Louis 3-1 at the end of 2. They're in the second intermission. And Dallas, meanwhile, where are the Stars? They have officially lost to Buffalo. So so Minnesota will at the very least stay tied with Dallas, but they could still be trailing Winnipeg by 2 points. What do we make of Minnesota at this point? What do we think of them?
Well, they have a nice run of playoff appearances in the last couple of years. I think it ended last year, the year before, maybe. I know they were definitely in the COVID year, but maybe they're returning to that same form, and they'll make a playoffs again this year. I mean, who knows how far they'll get, but hey, heck of a good start.
Exactly. I did not have Minnesota as being one of those teams to really be paying that close of attention to this season. It was, I figured they were due for a drop. I really figured they were due for a drop off at this point. So to see them doing as well as they are doing to this point, and you had Kaprizov has got 8 points coming into play tonight, and he gets some more tonight. And you're seeing the goaltending. Obviously it's early, but you're seeing good play from the goalies out of the gate. And Gustafsson, my goodness, he's just been unbelievable here the first couple of weeks of the season. He's saving better than 95% of the shots he's faced, which is just insane.
Exactly.
He's not maintaining that. He's not maintaining that for the course of this season. So,
but yeah, it was definitely not on my bingo card.
No, by no means was that on the bingo card tonight.
Maybe they'll be the Vancouver of last year and come out of nowhere and get to the second round of the playoffs.
Maybe. Well, let's take ourselves another quick little break. We got to talk medical for a minute. And I know we love to cross-pollinate on this show anyway and talk about other sports while we're here too. We got to talk about some basketball because there is a connection between a basketball player and a hockey player. A basketball player, a hockey player, and medicine. Where the heck are we going with all this? Well, stick around and you can have that question answered. You are listening to the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No. Not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide through your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on the defining moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam and Zach back with you here for just a couple of more minutes on the show here tonight. So I teased before that last break that we've got to talk about some medical stuff. And it has to do with one Gabriel Landeskog. Now, of course, Gabriel Landeskog has been out for the Avalanche basically ever since winning the Stanley Cup with them a few seasons back. A terrible, terrible, terrible knee injury has kept him out. Now, I said that there was going to be some NBA discussion in here too. And I have to shameless plug, along with doing this show, I also am the host of Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio. I talk all things Chicago sports every Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, translate to whichever time zone you happen to be in. I talk Blackhawks, Bears. I also talk Bulls. The Bulls had a situation with one of their players several years ago, blew out his knee, had multiple procedures done, and nothing seemed to work. And then last week, Wednesday, in a preseason game, Lonzo Ball made his return. He had a highly, we'll just use the word experimental, just in the sense that we've never seen a sports player go through this, but he had a cartilage transplant done where he had cartilage from a cadaver put into his knee to help strengthen it. And he's recovered, was medically cleared. He played last week. The Bulls are set to tip off their regular season tomorrow night down in New Orleans. He's on a minutes restriction, but Lonzo Ball is set to play. Gabriel Landeskog had this cartilage transplant procedure. I'll go through a little bit here. So, is a rare double cartilage transplant procedure. The surgery was performed by Dr. Brian Cole. He's the Bulls orthopedic surgeon. Dr. Cole also did this procedure in May of 2020, had this procedure done by Dr. Cole in May of 2023. And Landeskog is trying to come back from this procedure. And in fact, earlier today, he slammed the door on saying that he's retiring. He's going to try and come back after having this procedure. So you've got an NBA player that has had it and is seemingly making a comeback and is going to play. And you have Gabriel Landeskog has had this procedure done. He's still trying to come back. Could we see Landeskog come back?
I think there's a good chance, yeah.
You know, I would almost wonder, thinking about knees for a moment and the way what you do in basketball versus what you do in hockey. Would hockey be easier to come back from on your knees? You don't have jumping involved.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah, you're just skating and you fall on your knees, but yeah.
Hockey is a heck of a lot more physical, though.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, I guess it depends on how much you're not having the upward motion, but yeah, you definitely have a whole lot more force towards you and might be more force on the knees and everything.
Yeah, and let's face it too. I mean, when you're not out on the ice for as long, so you tend to, when you're out there, you give close to 100%, of whatever energy you have while you're out there. Whereas if you're basketball, you typically, Lonzo Ball, even on a minutes restriction, he's going to be out there for 4 minutes at a stretch while he's out there. You would never see a 4-minute shift in hockey. Oh my God. You'd be passing out on the ice. You're out there for anywhere between 90 and 120 seconds, and then you're off the ice.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's a chance. I mean, especially if there's had success with it before with Lonzo, and I mean, maybe look at the track record of successes with the actual procedure itself, and see how successful it's been. Any of the other times it's been performed. I mean, if that's to say, if it's been performed more than just these two people,
Yeah, which it has. So I'll kind of go through some numbers here. And this is from Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan in Denver. This is, I'm reading from them here. So I want to give credit where it's due. While there is some data that shows the surgery works approximately 70% of the time on athletes, this is the highest rung of pro sports, and nobody has come back from this injury yet. There was an NBA player who got back to the NBA's top minor league for 2 games. However, he never played in an actual NBA game after having this procedure. Lonzo Ball made history by, even though it was a preseason game, he played in an actual honest to goodness NBA game after having this done. There's been one other, Dr. Cole performed this procedure on an NHL player, Mark Method. However, Method never appeared in an NHL game again after having the procedure done.
Sure.
So there's never been an NHL player that has had this procedure done and then returned to the ice.
Yeah.
Now, it links here to a study done by the University of Missouri that nearly 70% of athletes who undergo this transplant return to their sport 16 to 24 months after the surgery. He had the surgery in May of 23. So that would mean you've passed 16 by this point. 16 would have been in July. Right? No.
You said
I'm
May or
sorry,
March?
May. I'm sorry. I said May, and then I did the math for March in my head. I'm sorry. So we'd be
right now.
Yeah, we'd be just hitting 16.
Yeah.
So any time now this season, in theory, would be when you see athletes when they come back. Any time now would be the time that they do come back.
Yeah.
So something to keep an eye on. Something to keep an eye on and be excited. I mean, if you're an Avs fan, oh my goodness, to have Landeskog come back, that would be sensational. I mean, obviously, he's going to be spending some time in the minors.
Yeah.
He's not just going to come back to the NHL.
Got to rehab
but yeah, you get through rehab. If they could get him back, I'd say, after New Year's. Oh my good, maybe even after the Olympic break, you think, or not the Olympic break, but the
Four Nations.
Yeah. Yes, the Four Nations, after the Four Nations break in February. Would they need to wait that long, you think? Or do you think they could, in theory, get him back before that?
Well, we'd be sitting at the 16 now. So 17, 18, 19 to January, 20 to February. Well, I mean, I guess depending on how their season's going, if they're going strong, if they're in position for the playoffs, bring them back and make a final push at it.
Yeah.
If they're if they've already had a crap season, no sense in rushing them and making it worse.
Yeah. At the same time, man, if you're having a rough season, to be able to put him back out there, oh my gosh, what a jolt that would give to the team and to the fans too.
That's true. Yeah.
You've got that aspect of it as well. So definitely something.
As long as you felt confident, yeah, totally.
Yeah, something to definitely be keeping an eye on this season, though, as we could see, he would be making medical history by coming back and playing in an NHL game. And then, hey, you get to attach your name to history in some way, shape, form, or fashion. That's usually a good thing. Usually, that's a good thing.
The only way that sentence could have been cooler is if he'd gotten cartilage from a shark.
Boo, boo, boo.
He now has a dorsal fin.
All right, with that, we're sounding the horn on this thing. There's only one way this show would be going from that point on, and then we're just going to cut it off before we get to there. Thank you, everybody that tuned into the show tonight. Want to, of course, once again, thank our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket, Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. You can follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Go to their website, planetjerky.net, to place your orders. All orders of $50 or above come with free shipping. They also want to say thank you to Seal the Deal Wag Deal. Follow them on Instagram at @FeelTheDeal_WagCamp. Place the orders by going to iesportsradio.com. Feel the Deal Wag Deal. While you're there at iesportsradio.com, check out the shop, find the merchandise as well. Check out the page for the show, the Neutral Zone. You can learn about both Zach and myself. Have some fun that way. Check out out all the other shows there. Follow along with the station on all the social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You can find everything right there for everything going on with the station. Like the show, you're somebody that would want to hear it. You can't listen live anywhere you find your podcast. This show is available to you on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. They're all there for you. Download them and spread the love. He is Zach Pumpus. I am Adam Karnick. Together, we are the Neutral Zone. Next week, we'll get you caught up on everything going on in the hockey world, and we'll see what other crazy news things that happen between now and then. Maybe Winnipeg Jets will be undefeated. We'll find out. Until then, Zach, take us out of here.
Don't get checked in the tunnel. Don't get checked in the boards. Down tunnel back.
Sounds good.